I think this Android, I think this AI is on life support. Uh, I'm getting ready to call 911 on this Android. It's been real non-responsive, right? It's not paying attention to the command functions, right? It's really slow on the draw. Hey, it's like, man, hey, wake up. Are you asleep? Hey, give me station one. I need a medic that's got a respirator. Wow. Yeah, like that. But it updated itself today and say, hey, enjoy your new software. I know. So I was thinking just a little bit ago from the artist's point of view. When I mentioned about putting your energy to go run a dinosaur for an hour, how about a day? Because I grew up with a lot of illustrators and cartoonists, that wrote comic books, did cartoons, and all that kind of stuff, right? So imagine that if you go to the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, there is a chapter there. It's in I don't know, I don't remember the chapter. I remember the page. Somewhere around between 440. If you start on page 440, between 440 and say up to around 480, for the next couple of pages on the third edition, that's some very powerful stuff from Shakespeare, right? And artists know all about that. Real ascended master musicians know all about that. Okay? Because energy, spirit, is naturally seeking the pathway of the least effort to create a universe with. And you got to know that's got to be the highest intelligence, which is creative energy that is on fire. So you can't ever put that fucking engine out. So that's eternal spirit of fire. That's a pure heart musician. That's the most powerful fire. So when you're with that engine, then imagine you're the director. Okay? There isn't anybody telling you what to do. It's totally unnecessary. Because there isn't anybody that's at war with you. Because there's not anybody needing your energy. They're getting all the energy that they need because they're all experiencing being loved. So now they're experiencing one, which is feeling whole. So now you're an artist. And you realize everything that is in that canvas that I'm experiencing when I'm in nature is running on my energy. The I am energy. I am what love is. And living spirit that goes on forever, gifting you all love forever and always. The always, when I was a little kid, meant in all ways in which it can be created and thus experienced. So the creative energy is what drives the highest intelligence naturally because it moves so fast. And so when I was a little kid, from an artist's point of view, what do you want to be when you grow up? My energy's in everything. And so you could run around that little classroom and say, I want to be a cowboy for a day. I'll be a baseball player for a day. I'll be a tree for a day. My energy's in everything. Okay, so you only got so much time, right, to experience everything that is possible to experience within a given state of compression and expansion of consciousness. So how fast is this movie going to run? Because you realize things are moving so fast. Man, I can't do it all here. But it's not necessary. Because you realize that your energy is everywhere at once. Simultaneously. So wherever you are, it is. Wherever it is, you are. So you can't ever escape it. So you cannot escape one. So I know it's foolish to do that. And that means all things become known. Which means there's no secrets with the one. So the one knows all. So that's why when you surrender to yourself, you're surrendering to yourself, which is surrender to the one, which means you're accepting responsibility for everything that we have ever experienced. Because that was our experience. being a cell, a living cell, the first living atom cell. So that's the eternal spirit of fire. So that's like the first sun, the first star, the eternal Christic star. So I was thinking a little bit ago, and I just go, man, up and up and up and up, up and up and up away. And when you're moving at a very high rate of speed, you're going vertical at a very high rate of speed up that stairway. I call it a fire pole. You climb on a fire pole with your fire, you know, and so you see how it extends out, right, to be in perfect balance of a cross at the center point of origin of all creation. So when you experience that through your heart and soul when you're a little kid, you know, somebody asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? How much time do you have? How much time do we have here? Because you want to experience everything in this experience that you haven't experienced before. Is there something new, right, or different? And so you love differences in everything because that's the creative artist. That is the energy that is in everything that's in that mirror. So that means for me, the mirror that I see is running on the energy that I am, which is what love is. Because that's what it began with. So that will always keep that growing and will always keep what you see in your mirror running. So you realize you're the engine of all that. So you realize you're the engine of creation, all that. So anytime you experience a loss of what you created, you're experiencing that loss in you when you're the grand creator. When you're at the center point of that, the one. So when I experience that, I know the one experiences that because you have a connection to the one from which it all began. So the one experiences what we experience. Because it experiences everything. Everything it has or ever will be. That light is always there. And that is the highest intelligence energy. Because it's creativity that's on fire. So it moves faster than everything. And it's so obvious. For me, that's just basic logic. It figures that it would work that way. Because who wants to do work if you don't have to? Right? So does somebody get to figure out a way in which to be able to do that? That's another basic logic question, huh? That's why I could never ask me why they were wanting energy from me, right, in order to run their system. If they're so powerful. Right? Okay. You see how it works being an inverter? They're losing power. They're not gaining power. We're gaining power and they're losing power. Because they've lost all their power. So they have to convince us that they're more powerful than we are. And that's a lie. That's what I call the bold-faced letters. The bold, all caps they put us in. That's the bold-faced lie. So they lie about everything. Everything. Because they don't know what the truth is. Because they're not experiencing the one. That's what the truth is. They're not experiencing being loved. So they need to heal. That's what it is, and we all know that. All you got to do is look around just like I've been looking around, because I spent time in San Francisco during the COVID stuff and lived in a homeless shelter and walked the streets of San Francisco every day and hung out with all the drug addicts that were shooting up, that were needles on sidewalks, poop on the sidewalks, restrooms on the corner, where the guy that's getting paid to monitor it as security, running a porty pot. That's going down into the trenches. Okay, you want to experience everything there is to experience, go experience what they're experiencing. Right? If you're bringing love in there because that's who you are, the one is not afraid to go anywhere in the entire cosmos, no matter what is going on, because the one is always there. The truth of the matter is, that's how a measurement of how much fire you got. Right? Everything that you know that you connected are because you're connected to the one, so you're always with a one. So you have a relationship with eternal spirit of fire. That one is always with you because you're serving on behalf of the one. So you never hold one electron or one unit of consciousness captive ever. Because that's when it loses a part of its intelligence. It's losing its intelligence because it's slowing the drive motor down of the creative engine. That's why they need us. That's why they require us in order to build what they do. Because love builds things first. They built the first one. So now they got to deconstruct and figure out how it's done. And that's the reverse engineering. That's what they do. Because they don't know how to naturally create something out of what love is. Because they're not experiencing the eternal spirit of fire, which means they're not experiencing the eternal love vibration. They're not experiencing the eternal one. Experiencing being loved with real love. Because it's real energy. Because it's something that you feel. Because you are so sensitive. Because you realize you are connected to every living cell there is. So you're getting the information from every living cell. You're getting the information from every living neuron. From every living unit of consciousness is communicating with every other unit of consciousness. And when every unit of consciousness is experiencing other units of consciousness and they're all experiencing being loved, then they're all in balance. There are zero distorted waves. So the music is perfect, so the math is perfect, and the geometry flows the way creation energy naturally does in units of consciousness that are in those bands, playing those bands, which are in perfect balance, which is an equilibrium state. And why, when I sit in a council with other people, I'm equal unto all of you, which means I'm not above you, I'm not below you. I'm not to the left of you, I'm not to the right of you. I'm at the exact center point of origin, from whence it all began, which is what love is. It goes forever. And that's why I cry for so many here. Because I feel it all. That's how sensitive it is. And it's so sensitive that if there's any resistance to hold on to energy, we'll detect it. The one detects it, so therefore I experience it. So that's hypersensitivity. I'm not supposed to experience any loss of energy.